Go.
You ever had to call your cable company for an outage or get in contact with your cell phone provider because something's wrong with your bill? When you finally got through after 8 minutes of elevator music, were you transferred to someone who could barely speak English? If your answer to these questions was yes, then you're not alone. You have every right to be frustrated, however. But in the grand scheme of things, if you were the business, you can't say that you wouldn't do the same thing, and I'll tell you why. I'm here today to talk to you about outsourcing and why major businesses do this. Business leaders are well aware of what the average American wants. But when that is weighed against the cost of business impact, tough decisions must be made in the best interest of the investors and the current employees. I'm going to talk to you today about how did outsourcing start? Is this really at the expense of all working Americans? Who benefits from outsourcing? And in the grand scheme of things, are we better or worse off as a country? How did outsourcing start? Well, outsourcing is actually nothing new. In the early 19th century, Britain actually imported cotton from the United States. Then they spun and weaved the cotton there in England. This actually allowed Britain to keep 80% of its own income as opposed to just buying readily made clothing or apparel or curtains, whatever it was they were using. In the 18th and 19th centuries, whaling fleets were actually used for outsourcing. And in 1776, Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations spoke of outsourcing in his book. Since 2000, the U.S. has lost 5.5 million manufacturing jobs, with 2.1 million of those jobs lost in the last 2 years alone. Since 2001, over 42,400 factories have closed in the United States. Another 90,000 are considered at severe risk of closing. The last time so few were employed in manufacturing was 1941, before World War II. An argument pro-outsourcing can say that short-term job loss brought on by outsourcing, mitigated in the long run, gains American workers from consumption growth and free trade to low-wage countries. So who actually benefits from the outsourcing? That's limited to U.S. investors, shareholders, and American consumers, although sometimes at the expense of the American wage earners. Another supportive argument is that outsourcing jobs to other less developed countries helps those countries economically and helps increase their trade for U.S. products. It also gives those countries the ability to pay back their debts to the United States. So today we talked about some of the effects of outsourcing in American business. Told you about how outsourcing got its start. We talked about the impact on American workers. And we actually found that the jury is still out on whether outsourcing has made America better or worse off. So now when you make that call, you may not like trying to understand somebody else's English as a second language, but you'll at least understand why you have to hear it.